the matter? Honey?
I've a terrible feeling
About what?
that we didn't do something.
Now you feel that way because we left in such a hurry. We took care of everything. Believe me, we did.
Did I turn off the coffee?
No. I did.
Did you lock up?
Yeah.
Did you close the garage?
That's it. I forgot to close the garage. That's it.
No, that's not it.
What else could we be forgetting?
Kevin!
It's Two Dads, One Movie. It's the podcast where two middle-aged dads sit around and shoot the shit about the movies of the 80s and 90s. Here are your hosts, Steve Paulo and Nick Brianna. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Dads, One Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
And today we are opening another door on the Dadvent calendar and talking about the 1990 Christmas classic Home Alone.
Oh, yeah.
And before we get into any of that, I just want to thank you, listener, for being here with us. This is our 40th episode, Nick. We have been doing this so long now. I mean, I know it's still in the grand scheme of podcasts, we're still babies, but like 40 episodes feels pretty good. It feels really good.
I was ready to bail after like halfway through the first one.
Bro, you brought Pacific Heights episode 4. I was like heading out the door, man.
Like, if that's not a signal that I'm trying to end the podcast, what is?
You know, we actually wondered about that. No.
This has been so much fun doing this, having these conversations with you every week, every Wednesday at 5 a.m. live on air. But yeah, I mean, this has been great, and we've gotten such good feedback, and we're really kind of building a listenership and stuff. People who are really enjoying what we do. So thank you to everybody for listening, and thank you to Steve for putting this together in the first place.
And thank you, Nick, for agreeing to do it with me, because I don't think anybody would be listening if it was just me. I'm not that interesting. I think the repartee is sort of the point.
If you did banter to yourself in different voices, I think people would get like a few episodes deep and never know.
Oh man, I think it'd be stressful for me. I think would be the
You look
problem.
like Robin Williams recording Aladdin. It's like, what's going on?
Too close. Yeah, so this is our 40th episode. It is the third episode of the Dadvent calendar for this year. And I want to mention real quick, listener, too, just last week, as we're recording this, you'll be hearing this in a little while from when I'm recording it, but we launched a website. And so now twodads1movie.com is not just how you find our email address. It's actually a website, and it's kind of cool. I'm pretty proud of it. It's completely unique. I made it myself, and you know, didn't even have to use shake and bake. I just made it myself. But it's got information on all the episodes. It's got transcripts, at least at this point, for like the last 10 or so episodes. I'm working on adding those, but transcripts, links to the people that are in the movies that we talk about. Well, things are tagged with like Cagevember or Shocktoberfest or the dirt bike, the official vehicle of crime, because we've identified that. And so we're going to keep growing it with kind of like little inside jokes and things that, you know, are kind of part of the podcast, but really also part of the movies that we talk about because we love them. That's why we do this.
Yeah, and it's a great site. I mean, it's very like user friendly. It's easy to navigate. It's not trying to trick you into stuff,
right?
So it's very friendly to the person using it.
That is the idea. It's not full of anti-patterns. I'm a software engineer by trade. I've been doing the job for over 20 years, and I know how crappy it is to like have a website that tries to trick you into this or that, or there's no ads on it or anything like that. You can sign up for an account there if you want to, and leave comments on episodes, and we can have like conversation back and forth with Nick and I. And so, yeah, do that if you feel like it. But anyway, enough of that. Let's move forward to the movie, because this is now week 3 of the Dadvent calendar, the third Wednesday in December, if you're listening the day this releases. And Nick, you have picked an absolute banger for us at this point. What are we watching today? Talk to me about it. Your history.
You know, had to be picked, right? Mm-hmm. If we're doing Christmas movies from the 80s and 90s, this is one of the most iconic ones. Yeah, Home Alone is a movie that we probably saw around the time it came out, but also have seen a bunch of times since then and kind of developed a relationship with over the years. And now it's something that we've been able to enjoy with our own children, our little nieces and nephews, cousins, all this stuff. It's just like so fun. I hate using so much fun to describe a movie all the time, but I don't know how else to describe this one. I mean, this is just something that you enjoy it start to finish. It's really hard to pick apart anything you'd change about it.
Right.
And I mean, it puts you in that perfect holiday spirit. The score, the performances, like everything about it is just so enjoyable. So I thought this would be a great one for us to get up early on a Wednesday morning and talk about.
Absolutely. And Is this one you think did you see this one in the theater? Pretty sure.
No,
Or
I did not.
Oh, okay,
Nope.
interesting. And yeah, this was definitely a theater watch for me. This was the kind of thing that like it came out. We'll get into the facts, but it came out actually just before Thanksgiving that year. And I think it's the kind of thing that maybe after a week or two, this wouldn't have been something my parents would have taken my brother and I to like first weekend, but it was in the theater for many months.
Yeah.
And so I know this is one that we ended up seeing at some point because it got to the point where, we probably got back to school after Thanksgiving break and half the school is talking about, half the fourth grade is like, oh my God, Kevin McAllister's so cool, or whatever. And so definitely that. And then you're right. I think it just became a staple. My wife and I used to do this thing before we had kids where we would like literally have a draft in November of which Christmas movies we're going to watch during December. And so she and I would go back and forth in picking. So that way I could throw something fun at her, like Jingle All the Way. And then she could pick real movies that are good. And we would go back and forth. But I think like 3 movies were on it every year. And Home Alone was one of them. Christmas Vacation was one. And then actually our film from last week, The Ref, was one that she and I always watched.
Very nice.
But yeah, but Home Alone was like, had to be there. You
Yeah.
almost can't have like a Christmas viewing season of Christmas movies without Home Alone.
Yeah, it's
So,
incomplete unless you just experience this whole thing.
100%. So let's jump into the facts.
Yes, sir.
On Home Alone, and they are. This is actually one of the more fun group of facts that we've had. So, all right, the movie Home Alone, rated PG, came out on November 16th, 1990. Like I said, sort of just before Thanksgiving. Running time of 103 minutes. Directed by not John Hughes, and we're going to talk about that a little bit. Directed by Chris Columbus and written by John Hughes. Rumor has it over the course of 9 days, I believe, is the rumor. The entire screenplay was written by John Hughes over 9 days. Starring Macaulay Culkin, Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern. Scores. Rotten Tomatoes, 66%, which feels,
weird.
Well, the kind of movie it is and the kind of like uppity punks that critics were in the 90s and
That's
their 80s.
True.
I could see
I want children who behave in my movies.
This isn't Sophie's Choice. IMDb, a much, much more respectable 7.7, which is a pretty high score actually for IMDb, but 2 thumbs down from the homies Roger and, not Gene. I forgot his name for a second. Siskel and Ebert, 2 thumbs down. Psychotic.
They're seeming more and more like the old men from the Muppets.
Yeah,
as we see their scores on some of these movies.
It's really bad. Just the contrarian for contrarian's sake. Yeah. Awards. Let's see. Not a ton of wins at the time, but nominated for 2 Oscars, both Best Original Score and Best Original Song for John Williams. Nominated for 2 Golden Globes, both the Best Comedy Film and Best Actor in a Comedy for Macaulay Culkin. Did not win either, but it was added to the National Film Registry in 2023, along with like several other movies that we've covered. That seems to be something that comes up often enough. But here's the real fun, interesting part of the facts around Home Alone. It cost $18 million to make this movie, and it earned $476 million at the box office.
Insane.
26 times what it cost. It's a ludicrous amount of money. I think on the website, this will actually take over from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for highest profit at the box office when this episode goes live.
Is this our highest multiple? Does it beat Nightmare on Elm Street?
Nightmare on Elm Street was like 50x or something crazy
gonna be
like
a
that.
tough
It's
one.
never going away. But the other interesting fact about Home Alone is that it spent 12 weeks as the #1 movie in U.S. theaters.
That is nuts.
From November 16th, 1990 until February 3rd, 1991, when both Sleeping with the Enemy and then something else I can't remember. There were a couple like reasonably good movies came out that week and finally dropped Home Alone to like 3rd. It was still ahead of the newly debuted Neverending Story 2 at the time, however, which I think makes sense because I was always pissed off that they made a sequel to that movie. If the story never ended, how do you make a sequel?
Exactly.
That's a movie we will never do here on Two Dads, One Movie. Neverending Story 2. We'll do the first one though, because I got to cry about our tax at some point. So, all right, those are the facts on Home Alone. Nick, let's dive in, man. How does this movie kick off?
Yeah, so I mean, this movie just starts off and gets you in the mood right away. I don't know if we didn't mention this in the fact, but the score by John Williams, recognizable. I mean, this music is now so well known that it can stand alone as just Christmas music in backgrounds places. So the score is perfect, and there's a nice little logo of the Home Alone with the house and stuff. Really simple. So we begin in the McAllister household, which is in like suburban Chicago, and it's this beautiful, like well decorated, like brick colonial, like really gorgeous. Just perfect looking house, John Hughes style house, right? But instead of it being a bunch of high schoolers getting drunk in there, it is the chaos of like multiple sections of family all like trying to get ready the night before a big trip to Paris for Christmas. And it's just fucking chaos in there. All kinds of kids, adults running around there. one of the first people that we see is a police officer played by Joe Pesci, who's kind of standing there in the front door trying to get somebody's attention.
Yeah, just calling after, like, hey kid, hello, hey, go over here, hey little guy, just he got nothing. Like nobody's paying any attention, which is like, I'm sorry, I feel like in the 80s and 90s, like little kids paid attention to cops,
right?
You know, but for the movie, it has to work out this way.
Well, and also cops would not put up with that level of disrespect. He just starts shooting his gun in the air after the third kid didn't pay attention to him.
That's fair. I also want to say, as the opening credits rolled, I kind of mentioned this when we went through the facts, but like, this is one of the movies that I have, and I think a lot of people routinely misattribute who directed the movie. I feel this way about the Goonies. I often forget that was Richard Donner, I think, and not Steven Spielberg. And then I don't know who directed Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas, but it wasn't Tim Burton, and I always assume it's Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas. Like when John Carpenter puts his name ahead of a movie, it's because he directed it.
Yeah, right.
But that's not directed. And then this one I've always assumed is just a John Hughes movie, and it's like, yeah, John Hughes wrote it, but Chris Columbus is the director, and I always forget that until I see it, like in the credits, go, a film by Chris Columbus. Oh, right. It's not John Hughes.
It's because the liberals made it illegal to give Christopher Columbus credit for
that's
anything.
why he's not Christopher, Nick. He's Chris Columbus. He's making that distinction in case anybody confuses him.
So I knew the name, but I didn't know him as a director. But he did Mrs. Doubtfire. He did like good. He's done some great movies. The first couple Harry Potters. My wife pointed out to me that he did the first couple of those. So Chris Columbus is he's comfortable this year at Christmas time. Do not send him gift cards.
So there's all this chaos in the McAllister home, all these people running around. And I just want to say too, like packing the night before a multi-week long international trip, because they talk about being there through New Year's at one point.
Yeah.
So they're gone for like 2 weeks. This is like the day before Christmas Eve or 2 days before Christmas Eve, or right around that ballpark. Is maybe the 21st or 22nd of December. And they're talking about being gone until through the New Year.
Right.
And so it's
you need like plug adapters and shit. This is like an era of traveling to Europe where you would just be fucked if you didn't have certain things.
Yeah. You're not getting, Amazon is not overnighting something to you at your hotel or your apartment in Paris or whatever. So yeah, absolute sociopath behavior to have not only the adults, but the kids in particular, not packed like long before the evening, before morning flight.
And it was making me very nervous that the younger kids were like, they had to pack themselves.
Oh, it's insane. 8 years old, Kevin McAllister is, and he is being told to pack his own bag.
Like, I'm sorry. My wife has to give a once over to my suitcase when we leave places, because I've shown up places and been like, oh, I guess I'm not doing socks this trip.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to leave an 8-year-old is incredibly.
My kids are 11 and 7, and the 7-year-old will pack, but the 11-year-old will check her bag, and then I'll check both their bags, and it's like all works out. So it's like she can start, but a lot of times, I'll look through it and I'll go, honey, did you forget something? She goes, no, it's good. Okay, well, you don't have any underwear in here. Go back and get underwear and put that in there too.
It's just jammed full of stuffies, and there's no useful items at all.
Exactly. Also, I know we're taking forever on this opening, but I also want to mention, because it kind of goes through the whole movie, if you notice the permanent color scheme in the McAllister home, not just decorations, not just stuff that's easy to change like bedspreads, but like carpet, wallpaper, the tiles in the kitchen are all red and green. Everything is Christmas red and green in the McAllister home.
Yeah.
And every shot is framed in a way where some of the red and some of the green are there. Even the wallpaper in the parents' like primary bedroom is roses. So you've got like the green stem and the red flower, right, of all these. So everything is red and green. I've never seen so much green tile as I've seen in the McAllister kitchen.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, good. There's an explanation for the wild fucking wallpaper in this house.
Exactly. It's really insane. But yeah, but clearly they were just going for like everything should be red and green. So.
Yeah. Oh, so during this time, right, there's the chaos in the house, but then our main character, Kevin Macaulay Culkin, is like, he's being a little shit.
He really is.
He's being terrible to his parents, So he's trying to get their attention, and they're busy, obviously scrambling to get ready the night before they go to Europe. And his mom's like, oh, Kevin, get out of here. Don't bother me. He's like, why don't you hang up the phone and make me? There's certain things that Kevin said where I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
You deserved at least a couple of nights alone.
And this is 1990. Like, if the fact that didn't create a swat on the ass is shocking to me.
This is prime kid-hitting acceptance territory. Yeah.
Oh, parents had carte blanche in the 80s and 90s, man. They could do whatever they wanted. Like, but yeah, so basically, like, he's told he has to pack himself. We get little clips of like the older kids sort of like telling him, do whatever, do it yourself. Like, stop bugging me, like whatever. They're not very helpful to him, but he is a little shit. He is kind of a little dick to them. And there's all this stuff. One of his older sisters refers to him as, what the French call les incompetents, which is like,
I always
classic.
love that.
That's become a thing people put on t-shirts,
totally,
for sure.
Dude.
Like,
and I remember taking French in school. You were one of the few French takers with me. And yeah, when we get to that, I'm like, oh, guess what? I'm coming in here loaded. I already know some French. I know what les incompetents is, whatever that means.
He has il enfant terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's all this stuff running around. We meet Fuller, played by Macaulay's real life little brother, Kieran Culkin.
Yes.
He's like kind of looks like maybe the youngest kid among the group, but Kevin is going to have to spend the evening with Fuller up in the like 3rd floor attic space. It has a bed and everything. It's like furnished, but like up there, and they say like, hey, if he has any soda, like he's going to wet the bed. So you got to watch out for Fuller.
Yep.
We meet Buzz, who is Kevin's oldest brother. It seems like there's like 5 kids that are directly related to like Kevin or like his siblings, and then it's like maybe 4 or 5 more cousins. Like there's at least like 3 brothers worth of kids, because Kevin's dad, Peter, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Kevin's uncle Frank, and then the Uncle Rob that they're going to go see in France. They're all brothers, 3 of them. And then at least one of Rob's kids, the oldest daughter, Heather, she's there with them. So this is like all this mixture of these kids. We meet Buzz, who is a complete asshole. One of the class, he's like Chet from Weird Science, like one of the classic
a good
brother
assholes.
brother
For sure.
But Kevin goes into his room and they look outside the window, and their neighbor, old Man Marley, is out shoveling the snow and salting the walk and stuff. And Buzz tells this story about the South Bend shovel slayer, and he puts the bodies in the salt, and the salt turns the bodies to mummies. And Kevin's like, whoa, so we set up this thing of the scary neighbor nearby.
Right.
And I think we all kind of had as kids, like there was somebody on your street that you were kind of like, I walk quicker past that house.
Dude, 100%. I would love to revisit that stuff from my childhood, because there's a certain house where we're like, oh, that guy's an old, and it's probably just like, maybe he was just painfully shy and didn't want people soliciting at his house.
Yeah.
And didn't like have the light on at Halloween, but you get a reputation for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. So yeah, I love that. Like creating that neighborhood lore is kind of a really fun part of this.
Absolutely.
Because that happened to all of us as kids.
Yeah.
So we get kind of a funny scene here where there's still kind of chaos at the house, and then the pizza delivery truck car pulls up. Little Nero's Pizza. It's this little hatchback.
Great little joke on
and
its own.
It comes flying up. And there was a big thing. I mean, not so much now, but of pizza places doing the like 30 minutes or it's free. So there was always a lot of jokes around like rushing to get the pizza there or making it difficult for them to get it there in time. Back when they cared. Now it's hey, pizza. We'll bring it when we fucking want to bring it.
Right, yeah.
And go fuck yourself.
Nobody's worried about the Noid anymore, stopping the delivery people.
The Noid was compromised to a permanent end by SEAL Team 6.
Unalived.
So funny thing with the Little Nero's Pizza guy, because he pulls up and he hits this like jockey statue that they have in the front. And he brings up an incredible stack of pizzas for $122.50.
Right.
And I feel like we should do the Little Nero challenge and see how much pizza you can all get for $122.50, listener. So why don't we see who can get the biggest stack of pizza boxes delivered for $122.50?
Okay, not delivered, but I can get 11 pizzas for $122.50 today.
You Costco?
Absolutely. Hell yeah. Those pizzas are
it's
good.
Kind of a hack. Yeah, that's good.
The fact that you can get pizza today that is actually still, because it was 10 pizzas, $122.50. So, let's just take tax off the table. It's basically with tax, it's $12.25 per pizza. So the $11.50 maybe or whatever plus sales tax or something like that. So the fact that the Costco pizzas are only $10 each is like pretty wild. So you could still do that. But if you were getting delivery, like Round Table or something, I mean, you're talking like $30 a pizza. Like this is like over $300 worth of pizza today.
And if you get any toppings, this is.
Although Little Caesars is pretty cheap and crappy too, so maybe that would be a better comparison. But
we'll try. I'm open to being proven wrong. Maybe Little Nero was the Round Table of their area.
I think it was probably the Little Caesars because that's hence the joke. No, but so the pizza gets delivered and Buzz eats all of Kevin's. First of all, did they only order one cheese pizza for the entire group of kids?
Since we've done a thing about like noticing the actual food on screen here. The thing about the pizzas here is all these pizzas come in and none of them were plain cheese, but it looked like all of them just had Kalamata olives on them. They didn't have like normal sliced black olive, like rings of black olive. They all had these like lumps of olives.
Wow.
It was almost just like, we need a generic topped pizza prop from the prop department.
And pepperoni's too expensive.
No pepperonis that I noticed.
So crazy.
No mushrooms, onions, any of that stuff.
The little green bell pepper, like nothing like that.
No. So it really just looked like we have all these, and now we need a quote topping to put on it. And that was it.
We'd like 9 Kalamata olive pizzas and 1 half cheese, half Kalamata olive pizza. So then Buzz eats all of the cheese pieces which enrages Kevin because Buzz is disgusting. He's like, oh, yeah, we made, there's cheese, but everybody ate it, and someone's got to puke it up, and it's like, and he makes this big gag sound, and then Kevin pushes him, and like chaos happens, and Kevin gets in trouble for it. But where are the adults noticing that Buzz is being an absolute terror to his youngest brother?
Yeah, I definitely get that. But I think you might have experienced this sometimes too, where there is a kid who's being an absolute shit. You do a couple of look the other ways while they're getting it back a little bit.
Right.
Just to like let the universe right itself. But yeah, I get it. And especially if you're the parents, you know that Buzz has been like this since Kevin was in a cradle.
Or longer. He's your oldest.
Yeah, he used to punch mom in the stomach when she was pregnant. Like that's how much of a bully he is.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he's a shithead, but Kevin ends up tackling him, and then everything gets spilled.
Right.
They're doing a terrible job of cleaning it up. The milk spilling on the passport.
Yes.
I love that the documents are just loose on the table with
insane.
like the 2 liters of soda and shit.
And Kevin's dad throws away Kevin's American Airlines ticket. He picks up all of these napkins with the milk and whatever, and he goes to throw it out in the trash, and you see that there is a ticket that says literally has Kevin written on it in the garbage can. So there's that. But yeah, so this is also the point now where, everybody tells Kevin how awful he is. Look what you did, you little jerk, and all that stuff. Kevin, you're such a disease. Like it's horrible stuff. They're being extra mean to him, but
that is crazy.
It's
you
pretty
can't
wild.
have a circle of like insult to a little kid,
especially
like, that.
from adults,
family members,
and adult family members. Like, look, I have a lot of cousins. Like every once in a while, you might say something mean to your cousin, but like, the adults in the room should be better than
if
that.
If an in-law calls your kid a little jerk,
I'm gonna be like, hey, yo,
I'm gonna be like,
knock it off. Like,
yeah.
But so Kevin's mom goes to take him upstairs. They walk back past Joe Pesci, who's still standing there trying to get information about, what's going on. And so, Catherine O'Hara, who plays Kevin's mom, she tells him, like, we're leaving for Paris. We're going to be gone for a while, whatever. And he's like, oh, okay, great. Like, don't worry about your house. We'll be watching it for you. And he smiles at Kevin, and we get a very deliberate little ding, little sparkle of the gold tooth that Kevin clearly notices.
I would get a gold tooth if it was guaranteed to do that once in a while,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so Kevin, he's thrown a fit and stuff, and his mom is saying, you're going to sleep in the attic.
Right.
And he's like, I hate all you guys, doing this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's like, are you going to sleep upstairs? And Kevin goes, I am upstairs, dummy. Just that one hurt me.
Anyone who called their mom dummy in 1990 would have caught a whooping. I don't care who your mom is.
Yeah,
I don't care how sweet she is.
seeing
Like,
that.
that was bad.
And she's like, I really don't think you mean that, and he's like, I do mean it. She's like, we'll say it again.
Yeah.
I wish my family would disappear. So he's kind of set the tone of what he wants. I don't want to see any of you jerks again.
Yeah.
Goes upstairs to his sofa bed.
Great line at one point, I think possibly earlier when he's throwing a fit, when he says, like, when I grow up and get married, I'm living alone.
Yeah.
It's just very funny. It's such a kid's idea, right? Of like,
I'm living alone. Yeah. When I grow up and get married.
Yeah, exactly.
So we dream of every married man, Kevin.
Oh, honey, no, it's not if you're listening. So we get to kind of nighttime now, right? Like everybody's gone to bed. And they've agreed to not have Fuller go up and join Kevin in bed. They'll put him on a cot because he says, like, Fuller will wet the bed. I don't want to say, okay, fine. You'll be up there by yourself and we'll have Fuller in a cot somewhere. But overnight we get a windstorm. Basically, we see a lot of like, trees moving, and then a tree branch, sure enough, like falls and like knocks the power out at the McAllister home. Now, growing up, I had one of like a very similar clock to what we see there at the McAllister home that is like that fake wood paneling kind of looking black and brown alarm clock. My family was not rich while I was growing up.
You just said you had an alarm clock.
I know.
Which is it, Steve?
Well, I also had an alarm clock that had AA batteries in it as a battery backup in case it ran out, whatever. Yeah. So apparently, though, the McAllisters have never heard of battery backups because not a single alarm clock goes off in the entire house. And I cannot believe that the only alarm clock set in the home was going to be the one in the primary bedroom. Like, there must have been
crazy.
Frank's wife would be responsible enough to have an alarm clock, but nope, everybody sleeps in. They're actually woken by the like airport transfer van
who get there at 8 a.m.
Right, they arrive at 8 a.m.
So it's been light. I mean, this is the thing that I wrote down.
Okay.
Nobody awake in a house full of kids before 8 a.m. Put me in that family.
Not possible.
I want to be in the family where I can sleep comfortably in until 8 a.m. without even a kid. I mean,
there's no
that's
way.
Incredible, right?
There's no way Kevin doesn't wake up earlier than that. And then with all the chaos and yelling and running right throughout the house, he would have at least stirred and gone, what's going on? Something. There's no way Fuller, who's like 6, sleeps that long.
They solved the problem. Someone would say in the focus group, excuse me, wouldn't one of the children have to wake up to pee? And they're like, sir, we've already already solved that.
He just pees in
We
his
said
bed.
he pees in the bed.
That's fair.
Okay, so this is one thing about this movie I really enjoy is that there are these like minuscule characters that I feel like tell such a story, right? So one of them here, as they're like, there's chaos.
Yeah.
We slept in, and we get the
Yeah.
all this stuff,
Super
and they're running
fast
around
motion,
the house,
like,
and it's great scene of just people going every direction, and they're getting loaded into the van. As these vans are waiting for them, you have kind of like the neighbor kid who wants to ask a bunch of questions, the inquisitive little neighbor kid, Mitch Murphy, who comes up to the driver of the van. He's like, hey, what kind of van is this? Does this get good gas mileage? How fast can you go in this thing? How many people can? He's just like without leaving a space for an answer, you know. And then the guy's doing the, I don't know, kid, get out of here, you bother me. So anyway, and I love this character. It's just so funny because there was always this kid where you were like, are you unattached to a family? Like there'd be one kid on the street that was just always kind of by himself. You know, maybe he was married and living alone. But anyway, so as they're doing the head count for the van, this kid who's kind of snooping around in there is roughly Kevin's size and shape, gets his head counted, so they think they have everything.
Right, exactly. And then, you know, it skips ahead slightly, but like the other place to catch it would be at the gate, right? When the airline person gets the tickets, but we know Kevin's ticket is gone, so she's not going to notice a problem, right? So and I love this use of Run Run Rudolph by Chuck Berry. It's fantastic use of the running through the airport. They do make the plane or whatever. Like, I mean, you know, the things that couldn't happen today,
this
right?
Is the most dated part of the film, right?
The TSA, the world of the TSA run airport just completely changes this. You wouldn't get through security fast. And like he says, I don't know Chicago that well. I don't know where the fictional town of Shermer is kind of supposed to be with regards to the rest of Chicagoland. But I'm assuming because it's a Hughes movie, these guys live in Shermer, right? That's generally what happens. And I don't know about like how long it would take to get from there to O'Hare. But like Frank says to me, like the plane leaves in 45 minutes. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, if you're 40 minutes away from the airport, that's a problem. But like, honestly, depending on how close you are, that might not be that bad if you don't have to go through security.
Right.
And I remember back in the day, there was security like at the airport pre 9/11, but it was like nothing.
It was an honor system. Yes or no. Do you have a gun?
Kind of.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was like metal detectors at Oakland Airport.
Yeah.
I remember that a couple times, but it was like you're in and out real quick and you just walk your bags through. I mean, it was just like, it was nothing really. Yeah. So different. So today you couldn't possibly make a flight.
No. And it is good.
Close.
You know how like in different movies that we've done so far, we're commenting where it shows like the gas prices.
Oh yeah.
We should also keep track of the time that people are leaving themselves to make a flight.
Oh my God.
Because that's another like jarring thing. 45 minutes.
What's your habit? Like if you've got like this is an international flight, but I don't fly internationally much. I fly domestic more than anything else. So if you're flying a domestic flight, how far ahead of the takeoff time are you getting to the airport?
I would probably get there like if I'm by myself, like an hour 10 before the takeoff time, maybe. Because security doesn't take, I mean, depending on where you're flying out of.
Right.
With my wife, like 2 hours, because she likes to go to the Chili's Express and like, you know, watch me have 3 IPAs. That really comforts her before a flight is to watch me drink. So, well, I do that for her.
That's
but
so
yeah,
generous.
how early are you getting there?
I am like a full hour before, what do they call it? Boarding. And that's usually 30 or 40 minutes before takeoff. Like it depends on the airline, but it'll say on your ticket or on your boarding pass, like when boarding is. I'm an hour before boarding and I have TSA pre-check. So I get through security usually in 5-10 minutes, but I'm still like, I got to get there. I got to get through. I got to go find my gate and like physically see it and go, okay, there it is. I know where it is now. And then I can go grab a bite or get a magazine or do whatever. But it's like, I feel like once I've seen it, it takes less time to get there.
Oh, totally.
Mentally.
No, you're going to map that stuff out.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, as their plane takes off, we cut back to the McAllister home. Kevin wakes up. It's an empty house. He's doing the standard sort of, hey, where's everybody? You know, kind of thing.
And as they sit on the plane, they're kind of like, we just made it. I hope we didn't forget anything.
That's right. Yeah. I hope we didn't forget anything.
Nice way to set up Kevin waking up.
Exactly.
In the house.
And then, so he's looking around, he goes downstairs. There's like nobody around. He goes down into the basement to see if anybody's down there, which is the first time we see the furnace. And this was a funny thing because I always kind of forget how little the furnace factors into the storyline because they really set this up as like a white whale of this beast that Kevin has to deal with. And we only see it one more time.
Type
or even just like something where he imagines more
like it's
sinister,
to him
something.
like,
hey, Kevin, I'm going to get you or something. There's nothing like that. And so he does that, runs back upstairs, runs out notices that the garage doors are open and the cars are still there, and thinks to himself, well, they didn't go to the airport. The cars are here. He didn't know there was like a transfer van coming.
Yeah.
There was, shuttle coming. And so he thinks, and he looks in the camera and he goes, I made my family disappear. And he like thinks a little bit and goes, I made my family disappear. And we get another like fast motion sort of montage-y running around. Crazy.
Great music.
He's dressed himself quite nicely though. He's got corduroys and a sweater on. Like,
yeah, a
it's
kid
hilarious.
who's like, he's not
I'd
still
be in
in
PJs.
Avengers
Yeah,
pajamas.
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Man.
Yeah, and he's going crazy, and this is such a fun scene, like with the music, the saxophone
Yes.
going wild, and he's jumping on the bed and eating popcorn and just like
Yeah.
kind of sprinting around this big house.
Yeah.
He goes to his brother's room, and
Yeah.
we've referenced this many times,
Yes.
and opens up his trunk, Buzz's private stuff, which
yep.
is got milk duds and Playboys and
That's right.
firecrackers and all the stuff you could ever want.
Exactly.
I
Fun stuff.
I love everyone's collection of secret stuff, and boy, do I love it. A great scene is where he picks up the framed picture
That's right.
of Buzz's girlfriend. He's like, Buzz, your girlfriend, Wolf.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh, that's kind of mean. But then I
Right.
found out that it's actually the actor who plays Buzz, like in a wig, whatever, made up to be in that picture.
It's not the actor who plays Buzz. It's like somebody in the crew. It's their son. It's like one of the directors,
Okay.
or
It's
the
not the
director, or the
same guy.
writers, or a producer. It's like their son, and they just said, "Hey, look, we don't want it to be an actual girl actor that
Yeah.
we're saying this about, so just throw this wig on." He's like, "Yeah, I don't care. Nobody will recognize me."
Okay.
So yeah, it was like, but it was a boy with a wig on. Yeah,
Good choice though, because it is less mean that
Yes,
way,
exactly.
and you can kind of laugh along with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, he's got a set of starting lineup figures, which I was huge into starting
so
lineup at
good.
the time. Oh my
Teamless
God.
starting lineup
Yes,
figures
like-
though.
Oh,
But yeah,
man.
I love seeing the starting lineup figures.
Yeah.
I mean, his ideas of these things to do,
Yeah.
like shooting them, like as a kid, it just makes your imagination so stimulated. We're
Yes.
like, ooh, if my parents, what would I get into? And then the other thing that he gets into is he's into all the junk food, and now
Yes.
he's watching some of the movies that he's not
Yes.
allowed to watch. And he pops in this tape, and we see this recurring
Yeah.
throughout the film, which is a fake movie inside of a movie called Angels with Filthy Souls, which
Wonderful.
is this old, like, kind of film noir. I don't know,
Yeah,
what do you call it? Like an old mobster black and white movie.
It looks like something that Cagney would have been in or something like that,
Yeah.
right? Like it's it's black and white. It sounds very old. It sounds like a movie from like the 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
Something that like Bogart would have been in or something like that,
Yeah.
right? But it's very funny. And I know growing up, I thought that was a real movie, and I
Yeah.
always thought like, oh, I should try to find that movie and watch it for real. And only like in my 20s that I discovered, no, that was entirely made up for the movie. They filmed it and reuse those scenes all and over and again. But yeah, he gets a little scared because of course it's the scene where Snakes gets blown away by a Tommy gun. So it's like, it's stuff that he shouldn't be seeing at 8 years old.
Yeah.
And it scares him. And then we quickly cut after the Angels with Filthy Souls. We cut back to the airplane where now Mama McAllister is thinking to herself, God, I feel like I forgot something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what it is. She's checking her wallet to see, did I forget like my ID or whatever? They're talking about what do they forget? So she's talking to her husband and, like, did you do this? Did you this? Did you lock up? Did you turn off the oven or the stove or something? Like,
Yep.
goes, yeah, I did. Yeah. What about the garage? Did you close the garage? He goes, no, I forgot to close the garage doors. That's it. Right. And it's true. We know because we saw he
Yep.
did forget to close the garage doors. They were rushing and everything. I don't know why your garage doors were open overnight, Peter, but whatever.
Yeah, weird move.
But that's sort of it. And then she kind of sits back at first and goes, yeah, okay. And then she goes, no, that's not it. What is it? What did I forget?
Yeah.
And we get one of Catherine O'Hara's best single word lines ever delivered is when she sits straight up and screams, Kevin, like this
Yeah.
classic. And then,
It's great that it keeps going back and forth
Yes.
too. Like this scene is really fun. And back to Kevin's kind of hijinks. One thing that
Yes.
he does that I love so much is he goes to the top of his stairs and opens the front door and gets on his toboggan
Yes.
and rides it down the stairs all the way out. Have you ever ridden things downstairs like that?
I did when I was a kid, we had a very straight staircase in our house. Like
Yeah.
the one I have in our house now, like turns halfway down. So you wouldn't want
Ooh,
to try
that's
to
rough,
do
yeah.
something like that. It has a little landing
You got
halfway.
to bank the turn.
Yeah. But growing up, we had one and it was carpeted. And so, yeah, I think, my brother and I tried probably after seeing this, but we didn't have like a sled because it's California and there's
Yeah.
no snow. So we didn't like have anything like that. But we tried, I think, with a blanket.
Yes.
And it did not go well. It didn't go horribly, thankfully. Nobody broke any bones or anything like that. But it was like, we didn't stay upright very easily, right? And ended up kind of tumbling down the last few stairs. But, kids are made of rubber, so it's okay.
Oh,
but,
dude, I'm thinking about the damage we took. So we would do this thing. We didn't do the sled either, but my cousin had almost the same setup with the long staircase and then the door at the bottom.
Right.
We would do this thing called diaper, where we get like a pillow from the bed, and you kind of like put it between your legs, and you hold up the front and the
like
back.
a hobby horse.
So when you're riding it, it's kind of like a diaper, and it helps your butt like hitting the stairs on your way down. So we do that riding down there. And then we found this couch cushion that was like 3 feet long, and we're like, oh, now we got some limos. And we called those the limos, and we would go 2 at once down on those couch cushions, and that was like more damage. But the thing that got us the fastest was in one of those like nylon sleeping bags.
Oh yeah.
That just like
those are fast.
I remember watching my brother just and then just smack into the door at the bottom there.
You let him go first. That's a smart big brother.
Well, yeah, of course you have to. So little brothers are for landmines. And,
yeah. Well, I always loved my little brother when we get a new Nintendo game for Christmas, and he would want to play it right away. So I would let him while I read the instruction manual, and he'd ask me, "How do I do this?" I'm like, "I don't know." And then he's like, well, "Let me see the instruction manual." I'm like, "Fine, let me have the controller." And then since I'd read the instructions, I played the game for like 20 minutes or whatever. Yeah. But anyway, so cut back then. Yeah, the sled thing's great. We cut back to the airplane where now Frank and his wife, all the family's talking. The stewardess is even like, the captain's doing what he can, but there's no answer to your house because their phones are dead. In fact, even though the power got turned back on the morning they left, they were told by like a guy from Ma Bell, right, whatever, from the phone company, that it's going to take a few days to get the phones back up. So they can't reach the house. And this is like one of the worst Frank lines in the movie, is when he turns to Catherine O'Hara and goes like, "If it makes you feel any better, I forgot my reading glasses." It's like, dude, read the room.
He's
Frank.
the best.
Like,
I mean, this is another character. He has so few lines in this movie, but the things that he does, basically, he goes down, takes the pizza, and then says, "Oh, I don't have the money to pay."
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then he's, "Kevin, look what you did, you little jerk."
Yep.
And then stealing the stuff on the plane earlier. It was showing him like, "Is this real crystal? Like, put this in your purse." Like, that type of guy is just so well captured.
"Champagne,
there.
Please. It's free, isn't it?"
Yeah. And then he's like, "Fill it up, fill it up."
Oh, fill it.
That's a classic thing where they're trying to fill a wine glass to the proper height.
Which, frankly, I'll be honest, when you're pouring champagne, if it's an empty glass, you have to like do a little bit first, let the bubbles die down, and then you can keep filling it. So really, he was just
impatient.
he just needed to chill for a second. God damn it, Frank.
So now we're kind of introduced, or we're shown the burglar characters, who were Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci, and they're kind of sitting there in their plumbing van, and they're on the McAllister Street kind of pointing and like, all right, boom, there, the lights are going to go on there. The lights are going to go on there. So they know the timing of all these automatic light systems that are supposed to be deterrents to burglars. They're like, okay, we know how this works.
Becomes proof
everyone's gone.
Yeah, it becomes proof that they're gone, right? Because it's like, oh, look, when as the timer every night, 2-3 nights in a row, we know those people aren't home.
Right. So we have them like kind of lingering outside there, and they're talking about the McAllister house like it's Fort Knox.
It's the silver tuna.
Yeah, the silver tuna, which is really fun.
never before or since have I heard that term used. And like Marv, Daniel Stern's character, turns and goes, "Oh, it's very G." I'm like, who talks like this? Who ever talked like this? Like,
the silver tuna, was that just like an attempt to not get sued by the estate of Herman Melville? They're like, if you said white whale, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to get you out of here. So they're definitely targeting the McAllister house.
Oh yeah.
Kevin's in the house, and they're thinking nobody's there, right?
Yep.
Kevin's in there, and this is another good Christmas movie tradition, is for somebody to be watching another Christmas movie inside a Christmas movie.
Yes.
We saw that in the ref with
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life, and we'll see that again.
Oh yeah.
So Kevin's watching the first Grinch, the classic Boris Karloff Grinch, which is excellent.
Yeah.
As they're kind of like, trying to approach the house.
Yeah. And so he basically, I think he hears them initially, and they're kind of like messing with the door or whatever. And he basically, get really smart move, just runs around, starts turning lights on.
Yeah.
And when he gets to like the back door light by the kitchen, he turns that light on. That's when Harry and Marv realize, wait, a light just turned on that like wasn't part of the timers.
Yeah.
Oh boy, let's just leave, and they make the smart move. It's like, let's regroup. We're not going to try to break in this place now. Maybe they're still home, or one person's home or something. And so, they back off basically, and they run away. And then we cut to the crew that's been flying is now landed in Paris, and we get yet another And this time it's not Run Run Rudolph. It's more John Williams score, but it's like another great sort of like running theme song that they're running through the airline or through the airport there in Paris. And then do the most classically American thing ever when they literally hang up a woman's phone call in order to take the payphone from her. It's just so classically like Americans being shitheads in Europe.
Dude,
Like,
it's so good. We need more payphones because I would love to just have an emergency and grab a phone and just say, they'll have to call you back.
in a language that person definitely doesn't understand.
Instead of just hang it up, then they could say it got disconnected. Now they're expecting a call back. The person's like, what the hell? I didn't want to call them back. So they're rushing the phone and she's basically, you know, we have to call everyone we know. We have to find out what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
And it's like flashing back and forth. One thing it shows back at home is Kevin deciding, like, after these burglars have come, he's chased them off and he's kind of psyching himself up. He's like, I'm not afraid anymore. He's saying, I'm not afraid anymore, and steps outside. I'm not afraid anymore. And then there's old man Marley with his trash can full of salt. And he goes and like hides back under the bed.
And gives us, I've ranked, I think, the top 4 screams in the movie. This is number 2. This is actually the second best scream in the movie is when he sees old man Marley outside and go, and like runs back. I think that's the second of 4, and I'll call out the other ones.
I can't wait. Yeah,
we got the scream ranking within Home Alone. So that's a very good one. But one of the people or groups that Catherine O'Hara calls, I can never remember the character's name, by the way. I keep calling her by the actress's name.
I just say mom. I forget
that's fine. So mom calls the police, the local police back in, let's call it Shermer, right? It's whatever, near Chicago. And they are the most ineffective, shitty, crappy cops.
Really
like,
funny.
They would have been better off calling Joe Pesci dressed as a cop, than these cops. It's really bad. And they're she's being passed between like the family, whatever unit or something, and then like missing persons. I don't know, like whatever. 2 different groups are like trying to pass her off. And I love that, there's a mom on 2, sounds kind of hyper. And then she talks to the next guy, and when he passes her back, it's like hyper on 2, like or whatever. And it's like, God damn, these people are fucking rude.
The guy in like the family crisis center, he's eating a donut while he's on the phone, and there's one point where this hunk of donut just gets stuck to the phone receiver. It's so funny, dude.
Oh my God. And it stays there for like a good 10, 15 seconds, just hanging on to the phone.
And again, the minor characters, they really make so effective. I think both those actors are very funny. So they end up agreeing, okay, we'll send somebody to the house.
Yeah.
And they send a cop to the house, and he's knocking on the door. Kevin obviously is not going to pick up the
he's hiding under the bed, right?
Terrified.
Because he's terrified of old man Marley. And
and the cop gets on the radio. He's like, no one's at the house. Tell them to count their kids again.
Do you know what that cop could have done? Literally yell, police.
Right.
And he would have come out. Movie's over if that cop one time goes in his Chicago accent, police. Hey, the police are here. Is there any kids inside?
Yeah, as long as he didn't have any gold teeth, Kevin would have gone with them.
Yeah. Tell them to count their kids again. Like, what a fucking thing. The cops in this movie, man.
It's so terrible. And they're stuck in Paris, and there's basically no flights home for 2 days.
That's right.
So this is the situation they're in there.
Yeah, and they're gonna So we do see Kevin's morning routine, or part of he talks about his morning routine. He's like putting on deodorant, standing at the the mirror in what is obviously like the primary ensuite bathroom, like his parents' bathroom. And he's talking about all the stuff he did, and he used shampoo and did this and whatever, and like blah blah. And then he goes and he puts aftershave like on his hand and kind of passes his hands together because he's probably seen his dad do this, and he taps his cheeks, and then screams. The third best scream, by the way, in the movie is this scream.
Yep.
And it's like, this means he actually did shave.
Right, because why would it sting?
It wouldn't,
if
if you hadn't run a razor over your face. So apparently, I'm assuming Dad had like maybe some Bic safety razors around or something. It's not like he was using a strop, like like kind of like a straight blade. But he apparently did shave his face, or the aftershave wouldn't have stung. But that is an interesting sort of thing. And the third best scream is the aftershave scream.
And that scene, I mean, it's one of those things that people know aside from the context of the movie. So they would, if you go up to some random guy in like Warsaw, he would be like, yes, America, Home Alone, and do the scream, right? But people would think, oh, this is a thing he does in response to these burglars trying to murder him. But it's like, no, it's when he puts a mild astringent on his face after not shaving. So it takes a little of the magic out. But I do love that. And so now Kevin's exploring. I think he says something about he didn't have his toothbrush or whatever. Or he needs a new toothbrush.
Oh, but before he goes to get the toothbrush, he climbs Buzz's shelves, which is just the most nightmarish
terrible
thing.
way.
And these look like those old school sort of floating shelves where they were just held up by like relatively small, little arms that you would screw into the wall.
In there. They're in drywall.
It looks bad, And so sure enough, he climbs it, he falls, everything falls onto him. I did see an interview recently with Macaulay Culkin where he mentions the stunt man for him in that scene was a 30-year-old guy named Larry, which is kind of funny. He should have been killed. What he has to pull off his own head to get out from under the rubble, this should have killed Kevin. To me, this is the first point in the movie where someone should have died from the injuries they sustain. And like, there's at least 3 or 4 other potential deaths that don't happen.
Right.
But this is like bad. Like he really should have been very mortally wounded in this.
This is definitely the comments that we were making when we watched this. Yeah. And Kevin just casually pops up like Jake and Elwood Blues after Elwood's apartment gets blown up by a rocket launcher. And he's just kind of dusting rubble off himself.
Oh man.
Let's see. So Marv and Harry, they're in the neighbor's house now. They're robbing the
Like
Murphy's
across the
house.
street, right? Yeah.
And it's just goofy as shit, right? So they're playing with the toys under the Christmas tree, and Marv has like a snorkel mask and a snorkel on, and he's just like sweeping all this fragile stuff into a pillowcase with a crowbar,
like
just making all this clatter. Yeah. But while they're there, the answering machine goes off, and it's Mr. McAllister leaving a message for the neighbors saying, "Hey, like we're stuck here, whatever." And then they realize, like, oh, they are gone.
Yeah.
So
and this is the crazy part. The Murphys, we heard from Mitch, the son who was like the one who was counted as Kevin right early on. He tells, for no good reason, the driver of the van that they're going to Orlando, but they have to drive to Mississippi first to pick up his grandma, and then they're going to Orlando. So they're gone again, also over Christmas for sure.
Yeah.
Why are there presents under their tree? Like, what's the deal with that?
I don't understand.
It doesn't make any sense. The lights on the tree, the tree is like hung and lit and ornaments and everything, and then they're gone for Christmas. And there's presents. Like that doesn't make any sense.
Have you ever been gone for Christmas? And
I have not actually ever been gone for Christmas.
So when I was a kid, a couple times, because we had family on the East Coast and we lived in different places, so we would travel for actual Christmas.
Yeah.
And then come back to our house and there's stuff under our tree. And I talked to my parents after, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we." After you left, we did it, or we had the neighbors help or whatever. But I remember being like,
cool.
Dude, this is so amazing. Santa is real. And they were like, yes, he is. Enjoy sophomore year of high school. So, yeah, I mean, I could see like they did go through a crazy amount of effort, though, for someone doing like a big family vacation.
Santa is real. Now go finish your algebra homework.
Santa is real, unlike the square root of a negative number. Okay, so Kevin, he has to go find a toothbrush, and this is kind of a good scene of him being like precocious,
exactly.
And he goes into the store and he asks, "Is this toothbrush approved by the American Dental Association?" And the people aren't like, "Oh, how cute!" They're just like, "I don't know, bitch. I'm on break." Like they're not very.
Fuck your American Dental Association. Get out of here. Like, buy the shit or don't. It's like as if they're Big Worm at the ice cream truck. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
exactly. That's my money. It's my toothbrush.
So
So what you got on my plaque, homie? so Kevin, they're talking to him, and then this hand like slams down on the counter next to him, and it's this hand wrapped in like a bloody rag, and he looks, and it's of course it's old man Marley,
as menacing as possible. Like the reality is this is not a scary old guy.
No.
The reality is he's just old, and yet
but he presents himself terribly.
You are never beating the allegations. Like this is not like you are menacing this child at this point. Like it's so
terrible.
bad.
So Kevin, of course, is like too terrified to act there, and he runs out of the store with the toothbrush in his hand. And then they point to like the, all-American boy.
God, 1950s guy.
Dude, right?
He looks out of place. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, Jimmy, go get him." And he doesn't even chase him. He takes 5 steps, and then he yells to this fat traffic cop across the street.
Fattest fucking like meter maid cop ever. Like, go get that kid. Like...
So there's a very fun chase and good music and stuff, and Kevin basically runs across an ice rink and slides under these people's legs, and the cop slips and falls, and free toothbrush, baby.
That's right. Kevin gets away, but he's of course distraught. And this is so real because like my son is somebody who like if he does anything wrong, he like tells me and like he like feels guilty about it. And so Kevin is like, "I'm a criminal." Like I still, and it's like, bro, it's not even. I don't even know if that's a misdemeanor at that point. Like I mean, the toothbrush is worth about $1.50,
man. Yeah,
like, it's not great. Don't do it again. But like, yeah,
it's like what those restaurants that are like, "Our steak knives are $902, so it's a felony if you steal them." It's one of those like solid platinum toothbrushes that he can't can't steal.
I will say real quick before we move past this scene, the ice rink that he runs onto and the cop falls and loses him on is the busiest ice rink I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
There are people doing figure skating. There are people doing like couple sort of arm in arm, like at a roller rink kind of thing. There are people with hockey sticks and pucks.
Yeah.
And it's just wild abandon of everything happening. It makes no sense. And it's like, it would be horrible if you were actually trying to like enjoy an afternoon out on the ice in winter.
Especially if you're a beginner. You got all these people doing like triple axles in front of your face.
And I'm pretty sure it's a pond. Like it doesn't even, it's like
totally
the
frozen pond.
That many people
Not the best
on it.
figure
I don't know how
skating
thick
territory.
That is. Yikes. Anyway.
So as Kevin, he runs away from the cops and everything. And then he's almost gets hit by a van.
Right. Yeah.
And he looks up and it's Marv and Harry in their plumbing van. And he kind of gives him a look. Hey, kid, you got to be more careful than that. And then smiles and he sees the gold tooth ding again.
Sandy don't visit the funeral homes, little buddy.
I do. I love him saying Sandy. I think that's really fun. Like Daniel Stern is very, very
Speaking
good
of kind of anachronistic though, like the Jimmy Kid, like they do play very much like 30s or 40s movie villains in this movie.
They're the guys in A Christmas Story that he imagines like coming into the backyard.
Black Bart.
Yeah, that he takes out with his BB gun.
He's a dead-eye Edie.
So Kevin kind of like he's getting followed down the street and he's slowly running away and he ends up hiding inside a nativity scene because they're like, oh, he's going into church. I don't want to go into church. So he gets away and he's basically saying like, when those guys come back, I'll be ready.
Yeah. And we do see that's before Marv and Harry get into the van and almost hit Kevin. We do see that Marv plugs the kitchen sink at the Murphy's house and keeps the water running, which, comes back. He says, oh, yeah, all the greats leave their calling card. We're the wet bandits and stuff. So, but Kevin, gets away from them. And we cut ahead to that evening where we know that Harry and Marv have said they're going to come back and try to rob the place again. And he has faked a dance party. There were a lot of mannequins in the, or like half sort of like dress, whatever they call them, like down in the basement. So he's got some of those on. He's got, on a train track running around the entire downstairs room is like the Michael Jordan cutout, kind of thing. And so it looks like somebody's walking and other people are dancing. And he's got like, it's just really clever. He's doing it like a marionette thing where he's got
pulling
like,
the ropes
attached to his knee and his hands. It's all rocking around the Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Which is a great song. So
it's really great. And I can't hear that song without thinking of him pulling the ropes now.
Agreed.
And even though that's like an iconic song that stands on its own, but it's so associated with this scene.
Yeah.
I think we talked in an earlier episode about if you own more than one mannequin, go to jail. They have like a Buffalo Bill amount of mannequins in this house.
Because it was Silence of the Lambs referencing both Bill, but also Lecter's storage unit.
That's
had a ton of like mannequins and stuff in it. And I thought that too. I saw the basement, like, why are there so many mannequins? I can understand having like one. Like if you do mend or make your own dresses or shirts or like whatever, like I could see having one.
Yeah.
But there are like 4 or 5 mannequins in this little dance scene that he's created that he's had to like pull up from the basement. It's just pretty wild.
There's
pretty wild.
I heard they got the idea for the lotion bucket in Silence of the Lambs from the paint can that Kevin swings at the burglar. So maybe there's a little crossover.
Puts the paint on its face.
So they're the burglars are scared off obviously by this, and they're like, well, shit, we got to, maybe they'll leave tomorrow.
Right.
Back to Paris, another great Uncle Frank, a mini
Frank.
Uncle Frank thing where he comes out to the group and he's like, hey, who wants one of these? And he has this big tray of shrimp cocktail. And probably the woman who lives there is like, Frank, put those away. Those are for later.
Yeah.
And he just goes around and hands it out.
Right.
Again, he's not in it much, but he encapsulates like the dude that you fucking have to, but do not want to spend any time with around the holidays.
He also has to say it in like a really shitty, sarcastic, pseudo French accent. He's like, a shrimp cocktail. And it's like, dude, you asshole. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, everybody in the room is American. These are, not, you know what I mean? Like, how weird. And I also noticed I love they're watching It's a Wonderful Life on TV, but of course it's French television. So it's all in French. It's like overdubbed.
Yes.
No.
And the apartment that they're in is like the most a play set where the curtains are open and there's this huge view of the Eiffel Tower.
It's like, I'm
you
sure.
know, the France thing.
Although if they're all staying there, it better be a big place because holy crap, right? This is like 16 or 17 people all staying in one place.
Seriously, man.
Oh man. Oh,
Okay.
this is when Buzz, though, I love it. They were talking about being worried about Kevin, and Buzz is like, I'm never going to be worried. I'm not worried about him. And he lists the reasons why, but he prefaces them as A, da 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 da, 2, da 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 da, indeed. And it's like, man, you couldn't have been any more wrong.
Really good. Really good. So at this time now, they're having their shrimp cocktail. Kevin has ordered pizza for himself from Little
cheese
Nero.
pizza.
So he finally gets his cheese pizza, and he can't answer the door. I mean, he's terrified to answer the door anyway, but doesn't want anyone to know it. Kid's by himself, and he's using this movie, The Angels with Filthy Souls, to like talk to the pizza guy.
Right.
So the guy comes to the door, and he's like, "What do you want?" You know. So and his precision with the
It's
remote.
ridiculous.
I mean, you've watched like pre-recorded sports with people before, and constantly fucking up when to stop after a commercial break.
100%.
I need those skills that Kevin has, dude. He is making tight turns with that remote.
It's obviously impossible. Like there's no way he could know
The
it well
lag of a
enough.
VCR
It's a VCR. Like it's not even because literally I will have to cut the intro clips for our episodes. I look at parts of the movies we do and cut the audio out of a little piece of it and whatever like that. And it can be difficult just to get that right. And I've literally got like the timeline of audio in front of me visually,
you have a visual.
and I'm still trying to like nail the exact right spot, and it's not easy. So that would be basically impossible. And of course, he does pay the pizza boy, but he gives him like a crappy tip. I think he says it's like
20 cents
Yeah,
tip. It was like
exactly.
$11.80. He gave you 12 bucks.
exactly. And so he's like, thanks a lot, cheaper, whatever. So he plays the part where the guy shoots with the Tommy gun, like, snakes, I'll give you till the count of 10, whatever the whole thing. So the pizza boy runs away. Let me ask you something here, Nick.
Yeah.
After safely returning to the Little Nero's store, why the hell would that kid not call the cops? Like, I get you just want to get away, whatever, but like, how are you not call? I was shot at with a machine gun at this address. Maybe go check that out.
At least take it off the list of like future deliveries.
Blacklist them. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it must be treacherous.
Oh, man.
One reason he might keep the job and not call the cops is that Little Nero's jacket he had was sick. It had like the Italian flag colors on the collar. Like that thing is nice.
It's like that satin sort of like, it's
like a bowling league champion
right,
kind of jacket.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So Kevin is kind of, okay. So mom is,
back at the airport.
She's trying to like bribe some people to like trade tickets with her. Like, how can I get out of here? And she's talking to this very cute old couple, this old woman about, okay, well, I'll give you my first class tickets and $500 cash and this and that. And, oh, you like this watch? Is that real? No, but nobody can tell.
Yeah, right. Do you think it is?
one of the best lines here is, where she says to her, and the woman's husband has come to her like, come on, we got to get out. Or she's like, the earrings, you like the earrings? He's like, she's got whole shoe boxes of them at home. Dangly ones.
Yes, Ed and Irene are super cute.
Dangly ones is just such a good line. So anyway, I think she ends up getting a trade. So she's at least got a plane ticket to the United States.
Somewhere. We don't even really know where she's going to end up, but she's getting back across the Atlantic. That's a good point. So there's that. We cut back to Kevin, who gets a second aftershave scream for us. I call it the fourth best scream in the movie. We still haven't had the first best.
Yep.
The first best? What the hell? Like, I should
We're
probably
sticking
learn
with first best.
I should learn English. Anyway, so that because he has to go grocery shopping, so he had to kind of get himself ready for the day.
And he's starting to get a little sad at this point. Like Kevin's
he's
not enjoying the aloneness quite as much.
Right. It's getting a little lonely. So he heads out grocery shopping, buys very reasonable stuff, for the most part. He's got coupons he cut out of the, there. And I recognized the clerk, or I thought I did initially. And then I realized, I think she just, to me, really looks like Elizabeth Shue. She really does look like a brunette Elizabeth Shue, I think, the clerk at the grocery store. But it turns out that actress actually was in the movie Dutch. And I think I do remember her from the movie Dutch, which we will cover at some point, I'm sure. But yeah, like, she basically is asking him questions like, well, where's your mom? Oh, she's out in the car. Do you have any siblings? Like, no, I'm an only child. He's like, where do you live? And he's like, I can't tell you that. She goes, why? He goes, because you're a stranger. And it's like, dude, that kid is on point. He's got an answer for everything. It's perfect.
I do love that he's preloaded with the best answers. And then so he ends up, and I think his total for groceries, which included paper towels, toilet paper, several frozen meals, milk,
eggs, I think.
Yeah, eggs, laundry detergent, and bread. And it was like $19 and something.
That's so incredible. That's how much I spent on toilet paper yesterday.
Seriously. That's how much worth of toilet paper I used on my last dump. So Kevin's back home.
Right.
And Marv is coming up to the door.
That's right.
Again.
Yep. Goes to the back door.
Kevin is luckily able to save the day again with the VHS tape and his precision rewinding and fast forwarding.
Yes.
So he scares Marv, and Marv.
Well, but he adds a little element to it. It's not just the sound from the TV of the Tommy gun, but he has Buzz's little firecrackers that he puts into a like a stock pot, a metal stock pot back near the back door, so it would be very loud and sound very close. And yes, a lot more like a gun going off necessarily than what would sound like from the TV. So yeah, I mean, Marv freaks out and runs back or whatever. And he gets into the van to talk to Harry. He goes, somebody just got blown away. Like, the voice sounded familiar though. Like, it's almost like he almost is getting it that it's like, yeah, you did recognize that. That's like a movie. You've probably seen it, and they're going to leave, except Harry tells him, he's like, hey, wait a minute. Like, we work this neighborhood. What if we get picked up and we tell the cops, hey, we know a little something about a murder that happened. It would be nice to give have a face to go with their questions. Like, that could help us out. Pretty smart, actually. Harry is more the brains, obviously, of the two. And so they decide to stick it out and like wait and see. And I believe that's when Kevin comes out to like cut down a Christmas tree or something, right?
Yeah, he cuts like a little top of a Christmas tree. Yep. And I think, and he's decorating it. And basically, as he's hanging a bulb, he looks in the bulb and sees that Joe Pesci is like looking through the window.
That's right.
Slightly before this, back with Mom on her arc. So now she's yelling at a gate agent. She's been through this thing, and she's explaining this isn't where she first flew to, because she's explaining like, I went from Paris to Nashville to Dallas to all this stuff
to wherever I am now.
Wherever I am now, and he says Scranton, which is really funny. Scranton International Airport, right?
Well, no, she only got there from Nashville or Dallas,
true,
right?
Yeah, she could have taken puddle jumpers and stuff. So then in the background we see the thing that I feel like puts this movie over the top.
Yeah, I agree with you.
The John Candy character kind of noticing that she's having trouble, and just from the moment he kind of looks up and he's not even fully in focus, but you're just like, oh yes, I can't wait.
There is a feeling that is hard to describe to people who I think didn't grow up around when we did. There was a feeling of the first time in any movie that you see John Candy on screen. I got this feeling in Brewster's Millions, for God's sake. And he's, that's not what I think of as a John Candy movie, but especially if you're watching The Great Outdoors or Uncle Buck or Summer Rental or whatever, right? Like all these movies. And like this, when John Candy appears on screen, the weight on my shoulders is slightly less. Like there is something very like home about seeing John Candy on screen. I miss that guy so much, but yeah, so he's there, and in particular, seeing Candy and Catherine O'Hara operate together on screen is just makes my heart smile, basically. But he basically says, pulls her aside because she's losing it to the gate agent. He's like, whatever, and he's like, oh, excuse me, like when we talk, I heard you say something about needing to get home to your kid or whatever. He's like, and he explains who he is. He's the king of the polka king of Wisconsin or whatever.
I love his efforts to get her to recognize who he is. Cause it's like, she's in an emergency. Right. And he's like, yeah, we had some hits back in the 70s. Polka, 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 polka tea. And
we sold 623 copies of that one. Okay. In Chicago? No, in Sheboygan. Very big in Sheboygan. But he does offer he offers to let her ride along with him. They're in Scranton. They need to get to Milwaukee, and Chicago's right on the way. You're going to go around the lakes there, but it's right on the way. And, he's like, yeah, it's Christmas. Like, come on, if you don't mind traveling with some polka bums. And she's like, yeah, I don't mind. Let's do that. Please. Like, which is just really great character for Candy.
Yeah, really, really good. So now he says they're going to get a van and they're going to get going there.
Yeah.
So I think Kevin overhears the burglars basically saying, we're going to come back at about 9 o'clock.
He's home alone.
Yeah.
And you get the
welcome
title drop.
to the Home Alone.
Right? It's not quite welcome to the movie title, but it is a title drop.
It's on the edge there. It's on the edge.
Yeah. And so he hears the plan and he decides, that he'll be ready when he comes back. But before he can do that, he's got a request to make. Kevin does. So he goes to Santa's workshop, like whatever in the town, the little like Santa picture spot, right? And we see the guy who was dressed as Santa Claus is like left. He's going to his car. But Kevin asks the elf, like, hey, is Santa still here? He's like, no, she's over, he's over there, whatever. The guy who plays the Santa here, we've seen him already on the podcast.
Okay.
He was in Groundhog Day. Oh, so off to see the groundhog? The guy in the hallway.
Yes. Oh my God, dude. Yes.
He was also on the TV show Herman's Head. He played the sort of lustful part. I don't know if you ever saw that show, but it was like Inside Out before Inside Out was a kid's thing. It was like an adult version on Fox TV in the early 90s. And this guy was the like ego, the id, the like lustful sort of party part of the guy's head was this actor. But like Kevin is basically saying, all I want for Christmas is my family back. And again, I ask, why didn't this guy call the cops? Like how many people in this movie should have been like, God, that sounds like there's a kid, like the grocery store clerk, the pizza delivery guy, this Santa, like the number of people who, Old Man Marley knew that the kid was home alone at one point.
Okay, if he's out and he's shoveling, like old dudes like that do not sleep in. He had been awake to watch the airport shuttle.
He knew
if
the whole
anything
deal.
happens on the street, they're fucking glued to
100%.
it. So he knows exactly what happened.
The number of people that should have called the cops is ridiculous. And this Santa's another one. But it
takes a village to let a kid almost get killed by burglars.
Exactly. Like the number of fail safes that failed. Like, but Santa, I love it. He offers him. He's like, my elf took home all the lollipops, but you got to have something. He gives him a couple of Tic Tacs.
Yeah.
You got to see something get something for seeing Santa.
Don't spoil your dinner.
That's
I like that comment.
Don't spoil your dinner.
He gave him like 8 calories worth of Tic Tacs.
Right, if that.
Back at mom, real quick. She's with the polka guys, and they have their van that she had, which turns out to be like a rider, like a box truck, a moving truck. And she's sitting there like in the back of this freezing truck with all these dudes who are just jamming away at their instruments, playing Deck the Halls.
That's right.
Again, John Candy, nobody does it better. She's just sitting there and John Candy's playing the clarinet and he's trying to like offer her like, hey, do you want to play? Like as if you could just loose, like pick up a toot off a clarinet and just bang out some tunes with it. Right. And he's being so pushy about it. He's like, no, come on. And she's like, no, as in I've never picked up a clarinet before. And he's just like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's just a clarinet. Just and then when he starts playing again, it's like it's such a short scene, but that interaction between them, I think, is just so damn funny.
As someone who did play clarinet in the elementary school band, I will say it's actually a relatively easy instrument to pick up. I just don't think you can jump in that quickly to polka greats like these guys. But yeah, so we also then see Kevin goes to the church that he hid near at one point, I guess for absolution or something. I'm not sure what. But he sits down. There's a children's choir singing that does, it is Christmas Eve at this point, I believe. Yeah. It's Christmas Eve. So this is obviously not like the midnight mass, or because it would be more people. It looks like maybe practice, like rehearsal or whatever, right, for the choir. And so Old Man Marley is there. And Kevin and Marley have a very nice conversation. We learn a little bit about, Marley's a bit estranged, not completely, but not getting along with his adult son. So he's there because his granddaughter is in the choir, so at least he can see her. And Kevin gives him some like better advice than an 8-year-old ought to be able to.
He really does.
Just hey, like maybe think to yourself that it's not worth it to be right.
Marley seems less comfortable talking to a little kid than Kevin seems talking to him at this point.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he doesn't know what to say, and Kevin seems like he knows what to say in response to all of Marley's stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting. It's very, very flip-flopped sort of roles in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Okay, well, now we kind of get into the meat, right?
I was going to say, it's like everything to this point has been preamble. We now get back, and Kevin is preparing the house. He's got this really amazing battle plan,
Always love that. I always wanted to like pause on it just to see the detail of it.
To grab it. And that's, it's drawn in crayon, but it looks really good. I think it's not the first time we've referenced. I think the secret of my success, we talked about Kevin's battle plan.
Yes,
in Michael J. Fox's office, or whatever. Right? But yeah, so it's really great, and he does all this different prep stuff, and we see a few things that are obvious, and then there's other things that aren't. Like we see him like put the heater on the doorknob. We see him like do some stuff with like tripwires, but we don't see every bit that he's setting up. But it's like they give us a lot of. He's clearly all through the house, right?
He's got
every
micro machines, and he's putting water on the steps so it'll freeze, and
he's ornaments by the door,
and,
like, or by the window. That he leaves a window open and then leaves the ornaments on the ground there.
Did you ever play the Home Alone video game that was on Genesis?
I think they also did it on Super Nintendo. So yeah,
but it's kind of like Spy versus Spy, where you're in the house setting all the traps and you ride the sled from house to house.
That's right. Yeah,
that shit was. I want to dig that one up again. I want to see if that holds up.
It doesn't. So he goes to sit down to make dinner. He's made dinner for himself, like microwave macaroni and cheese, and he's lit candles, and he's got like the cloth napkin,
milk in the wine glass.
I mean everything. And he like does a little says a little grace, and then but as he is ready to sit down to eat, the clock strikes 9, which is when they said, or 8 or whatever time it was in the evening when they said they'd be coming.
Yep.
And so he blows out the candles and it's like leaves his piping hot bowl of mac and cheese there and doesn't eat, which really he should have like probably eaten something.
Take a bite.
Yeah, a little something in there. And I love a great line from Colkin when he goes, "This is it. Don't get scared now."
Yeah.
Like psyching himself up.
Funny. Yeah, so now we basically have the burglars going through all this stuff. I actually quantified the injuries for both guys, and maybe we could talk about like who actually had it worse.
I mean, I know what I think because I didn't do the math. I just know my gut says that Harry had it much worse than Marv, but I don't know what your research came to.
So I think you're right.
Okay.
Too.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I can go through that now because basically with this scene, we've got them going through the house and becoming subject to the various traps. And if we have one we want to talk about, we'll step aside. So here are the injuries for the two of them.
Okay.
Starting with Marv.
All right.
Shot in the forehead with a BB gun.
Right.
Slip and fall down icy stairs.
Yeah.
Several additional slips while at the bottom of the icy stairs. Falling hot iron to the face. A nail through, not all the way through his foot,
like
but
halfway through at
enough
least.
into my foot,
A
right?
tar covered foot.
Yeah.
At that point too. So.
And then a slip and fall again down those stairs. Now he's barefoot stepping on glass Christmas ornaments.
Yep.
When he steps in the window, he's barefoot and he like sticks both his feet in through the window, does not look down, and stomps them down so hard. It's really good.
Very, very interesting to note, by the way, this will not be the last time we see a movie where somebody has to walk barefoot through glass.
Yes,
So.
that's right. We're in Annie Lennox territory here, folks. So let's see. The Christmas ornaments on the feet. He slips and falls on the micro machines that are on the ground. He takes a paint can to the face.
Yep.
He gets hit in the arm very hard 3 times with a crowbar.
Right.
He swings on a rope into a brick wall, and then he takes a shovel to the back of the head.
Okay.
So that's Marv.
I mean, and let me say, the things I think were maybe like on their own fatal potentially, the fall down the stairs wasn't a good one. That could have killed you, depending on how you land, right? The iron falling from that high onto your
catch
head,
a corner on that thing,
that could
bad.
that could kill you.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like the other ones for him were necessarily fatal level.
Right.
You know, they were just really injuring.
The nail in the foot is visually very extreme, right?
And it's going to get infected terribly.
Yeah. But that is what, like, without quantifying this, I would have been like, oh, Marv has it worse. But then here's Harry's list. All right. BB gun to the nuts.
Yes.
Slip and fall on icy stairs twice.
The second one was real bad. He almost like flips over on
really
He
bad.
like flips over something like somersaults basically.
Yeah. The Indiana Jones hand burn on the hot doorknob where he gets the whole like the M from McAllister burnt into his hand. He gets glued and feathered, which is not painful, but just embarrassing.
Right.
Slips and falls on micro machines, takes a paint can to the face. He trips over a tripwire and lands on his face. He gets whacked in the chest with a crowbar, which I think is multiple broken ribs.
Yeah, a minimum.
I mean, that was rough.
If that doesn't pierce a lung or the heart with the broken bone that it causes.
That's right. A blowtorch to his head,
Yes.
which I think is the worst injury of this whole thing.
Probably,
maybe.
yeah.
And then a rope swing into the brick wall and a shovel to the face.
Oh, man.
So,
and I think that second fall where he does the tumble should have killed him. And I think the blowtorch should have killed him. So that's at least 2 deaths for
what
for
kind
Mr.
of group
Harry.
health insurance does the Wet Bandits provide?
I have a feeling
for their
0
members. Yeah.
They're not even on the exchange. There's so many funny little bits too. I love the rundown. But
let's go through
But like when Harry's head is steaming after he has to dive into the snow to put out the blowtorch thing. I love that moment. The way his sort of blistered scalp looks is really horrific, but like
and
really
how
good.
he's touching it like so gingerly,
and you
like
hear it
his
sizzle.
acting is really good there. Yeah.
The one thing I want to ask you is, what do you think about the Marv going to the open window and stomping down on the ornaments? Kevin set that up to attract them to come in that way because the window's left half open.
Yeah.
And the ornaments. But did he think there would be a likelihood that they would be barefoot at that point? Or is it more like you'll step on it, you'll slip, you'll fall on them? Like, what do you think?
Yeah. So, like, you wonder if his entire plan involved them like hitting the obstacles in different orders, so you know like what condition they'll be in when they get to the next one. But yeah, it doesn't work if he's
too
not
random.
barefoot. Yeah,
because it's like he had to go downstairs. He had to be inside the basement to get the tar to kind of pull his shoes off, which is why he's barefoot, and then go back outside around to a different ingress point, in order to get. So to me, it's like that doesn't make a ton of sense. It worked out great, but even I guess if you were to stomp down on those and slip, that could hurt. You'd fall onto the glass ornaments. That would hurt too, maybe. But that seemed like the kind of weirdest one to me that wasn't as obvious.
That required a lot of luck for it to work out, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we should, of course, mention when Harry takes the paint can to the face, he loses his gold tooth.
That's right.
Because they both have fallen down, and Marv points, hey, you're missing some teeth. And he feels like, oh, my gold tooth, whatever. And then I don't want to skip past after Harry trips over the tripwire, Marv jumps over it and is able to grab Kevin by the pant leg as he's heading up to the attic. And that is when, to try to get away, Kevin can't get away. He sees Buzz's pet tarantula crawling across the stair, picks it up, places it on very gingerly on Marv's face. At which point we get the #1 scream.
Absolutely.
In this movie and possibly throughout the entire decade of the 90s. I don't know that even though this is the very first year of the 90s, any at least dude scream, like man scream, beats this scream by Daniel Stern. Want to point out, because of the presence of the tarantula, Daniel Stern mimicked the scream while being filmed, did not make any sound, and it was later added in ADR. So that way it wouldn't terrify the tarantula, and tarantula would continue to slowly walk across his face, which makes for a much better moment, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they added, he just kind of opened his mouth and made no noise while being filmed, and then added it later, which is great. So yeah.
Really good scream. I mean,
wonderful.
Daniel Stern's physical comedy is just incredible. Pesci is good too, but Daniel Stern is doing the real, like,
it's his
hardcore
wheelhouse.
pratfalling.
Yeah, Pesci in this is almost odd. It's almost kind of a crazy casting when I think, wasn't Goodfellas the same year? I'm pretty sure that was also 90.
92, 93.
I think it was 90, honestly, but it was like 90, 91. It was right around this. And so to think about Pesci in movies like Goodfellas and Casino and whatever, but then also in this is just like kind of wild. But Stern, this was kind of his wheelhouse, was in physical comedies. I can't wait to see him in Rookie of the Year when we get to that point.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, just so much fun stuff here with the traps, and it's very satisfying to watch all this happen. One thing so at the end of it, Kevin gets them to chase him through the house, and then he gets on his DIY zip line. And I feel like the 80s and 90s taught us that was way too easy and reliable of a thing to do.
Like Data and the Goonies.
Yeah. Like how many kids were like, oh, all you need is a rope and something that can go over the rope, and that's
like the handles of a bicycle, right? The handlebar.
Or just whip your own belt off and then hold on. It's like, so Kevin, he zip lines over to the treehouse now. And the goal is, like, he wants them to chase him over there, and he has a plan to get into another house to call the cops.
No, he called the cops from his house. Luckily, his phone works, because before he actually made it to the attic, he stopped and from his parents' bedroom or something, which is why they were able to catch up to him after the pink hands.
And he says, my name's Murphy.
My name's Murphy. I live at this address. My house is getting robbed. Like, he tries to sound like an adult, right? Which is like, thank God the phones came back on, I guess. We had been given no other indication that the phones worked through the entire movie. In fact, we've been told several times how they don't work. So that worked for him. But yeah, he uses the zip line to get across to the treehouse. And so Marv suggests to Harry, hey, let's go back around and cut him off. He goes, no. He wants us to go back to his funhouse. Let's just go across. Now, Harry does wrap up the horrifically third-degree burned, blistering hand that he has from the doorknob. He wraps it in something, a handkerchief or whatever. But, like, can you imagine trying to put weight on that? Like, hanging? That's going to hurt your hands enough trying to monkey crawl, whatever, like monkey bar across a rope. Yeah. It's going to hurt no matter what. To have the amount of damage that he had to that hand. Like, the fact that they even have him wrap it, I feel like you shouldn't have done that. Hope that the audience forgot about it. Yeah. Because by wrapping it, you're reminding us how injured his hand is, and now he's supposed to be going across. But sure enough, Kevin's ahead of them mentally and figured they would follow him that way, and decides to go ahead and use the big, like, garden shears to cut the rope.
Really good to see that.
And they could have let go.
Again,
right? They dropped to like 2 feet above the ground.
You're falling into a soft pillow of snow instead of swinging right into a brick wall.
Hold on for a little while as you slowly, and then drop when you're a couple feet above the ground. Wouldn't have been a big deal. Instead, they slam into the brick wall.
We would be better burglars
Absolutely.
than them, Steve, I think.
We should probably try it.
So Kevin, he makes it into the Murphy house.
Yes.
And he's coming in through the basement and sees, like, this whole thing is flooded. Yeah. And he goes upstairs and basically is expecting them to maybe follow him the same way, but they're at the door when he comes to the top of the basement stairs.
Yeah, when he was heading across the street, they were coming around, Marv and Harry, and Marv said, let's go get him. And Harry's like, no, wait, let's not follow him. I got a better idea. Because they saw Kevin running around the back of the house and figured, we'll just go in the front. Yeah. Like, we know we can just go in the front. We robbed this place already. Like, you know what I mean? So they go in and they are waiting for him, like, in the kitchen as he comes up the stairs. And, and the threats that they throw his way.
Pretty bad.
Brutal.
I mean, but like, they're trying to get back at him. I love that they hang him on a hook. I love, like, those little hooks where you can just hang a kid by their jacket. But as they're telling him all the stuff they're going to do to him, which a lot of it is just stuff that he had done to them.
That's right. Yeah.
And from behind them comes old man Marley.
Yep.
And he smacks him with the shovel.
The big snow shovel, yeah.
And he saves the day there.
Would it have hurt Marley to turn the faucet off as they walk by? Or at that point, does it matter? I guess not. Everything's kind of flooded.
It's an active crime scene. I don't want my
that's a good
fingerprints to
point.
get
Oh,
no.
good thought by Marley. As the South Bend shovel slayer, he should be careful
That's
about his
right.
fingerprints.
He knows about forensic evidence.
Yep.
So you know, the burglars are arrested, but now
Yeah.
Kevin, he's back at his house and he's decorated for Christmas and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's kind of real like feeling pretty sad. He left out cookies and milk for
yeah,
Santa.
yeah.
He left out carrots for the reindeer, but they're peeled.
Oh, interesting.
Are you peeling a reindeer carrot? It's a
No.
reindeer.
No, in fact, my kids insist on them being the carrots with the big stalk of
Yeah.
green at the end.
It
like
has
the whole
to look
deal.
like a
It's got-
cartoon carrot, like
yeah.
Super Mario Brothers 2.
So-
Like that kind of vegetable.
Something,
you know?
something Bugs Bunny would have gnawed on while saying, "What's up, Doc?"
Yeah. So I feel like this was a craft services thing where they're like, well, you said carrots and you yelled at me last time they weren't peeled. It's like, yeah, but this is for the movie.
Oh my God,
So
that's
anyway,
funny.
peeled carrots
It's
out
in
for the
Pesci's
reindeer.
writer. We have
Yeah.
to peel all carrots.
If Pesci gets one bite of carrot skin, he's out of here. So Kevin had decorated the home and
Yeah.
stuff, and he's kind of going to bed.
Also completely cleaned up, by the way, apparently.
It's no
Completely
evidence.
cleaned up. Yeah.
When there's like, it's not like there was sweeping to do. Like there's broken shit.
Right.
Like there's drywall that needs to be repaired and stuff.
I can't believe that the blowtorch didn't leave some black mark somewhere on the wall or ceiling as it burned, Harry alive.
And he put this stuff away. He probably hung it in his dad's like tool area,
Yeah.
right where it goes and
Yeah,
everything.
exactly.
So before we wrap it up, we've got kind of the end of Mom's
Yeah.
journey in the car, and this scene here again. How much total John Candy screen time? Probably less than 3 minutes, right?
I give him maybe five between all the scenes he's in. Maybe 5
not
minutes.
in all that much,
Yeah.
right? And he's telling her a story, and she's saying, "Oh, I feel like such a bad mother
Right,
leaving
right.
my kid home alone." He's like, "Oh, don't feel like a bad mother. I look around," and he's pointing to his different polka guys. He's
Right.
like, "Oh, this guy, he sees his kids, once a month, whatever.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't even know his kids. Oh, I hope they never write a book about him." And then his story that he tells, where he says, "Well, I left my kid in a funeral home. once.
Yeah.
all day, all day.
Funeral parlor. Yeah.
I left him there alone with the corpse in the room all day." And, by the time we finally got him, he was pretty upset. The kids are resilient, though. Another 6-7 weeks, he started talking again. And it is such a dark fucking
Yes.
joke
Yes.
to be in this like family Christmas classic. And at the very end of it, by one of the greatest comedic actors two of the greatest comedic
Yes.
actors we've ever had
Right.
in this scene together.
Yeah.
What a treat.
And-
I mean, that to me puts this movie over the top. The movie would have been fine and very popular
Yeah.
without that. And it's this really good dark joke delivered by one of the greatest.
And one of the best things about it is that Candy improv'd it on the scene.
crazy.
That was not written. They just told him, just tell a story about leaving a kid somewhere.
Crazy.
That off the dome, John Candy brought that heat. Like that is just like so wild. But yeah, one of the best moments, absolutely hilarious. And Catherine O'Hara's responses, because again, she's hearing this story for the first time. This wasn't
Yeah.
at a table read. So her subdued, like, oh, like kind of, like the little like faces that she makes and stuff, or she's trying desperately to not burst out laughing at John Candy's story. It's fantastic.
Really, really good.
So we get to Christmas morning. Kevin wakes up, goes downstairs, kind of looks around, whatever. And as he realizes everybody's still gone and is looking very dejected, he turns kind of away from the front door. And that's when Mom comes in. And there is, this reunion. I got to be honest. Kevin's initial sort of, "I'm mad at you" look, like before he smiles and hugs her, it's like, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
Even this precocious kid, after what he went through, the second his mom comes to the door, would have been burst into tears running to her, like, "Mom," whatever.
Totally.
Like, "Oh my God, you're alive, you're here." It would have been like that, but we don't quite get that. We get a little
Because he didn't
real
know she was
judgment
on her
first.
way back.
No,
He thought
no
they were
idea.
all just gone forever.
Like dead potentially,
Yeah.
right? He had no idea they were trying to get home or that they'd gone to France or anything else. They were just gone.
Yeah.
But we have to get the little judgmental, look from Macaulay Culkin first. But yeah, and then of course the most hilarious part of it all is that moments later, the rest of his family, Buzz and his dad and his brother and other brother and sisters, all come in because the flight
they took the flight they were offered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The 2 days you'd have to wait. She could have spent with them in Paris instead of running all over the world by herself. Although she would not have met Gus and the polka bums. So that, worked out for her. But yeah, that's basically it. The only kind of thing that happens is at one point, although Kevin cleaned everything up throughout the house, he
Yes.
apparently missed Harry's gold tooth,
right?
Because Peter, the dad, finds it and goes, "Honey, what's this?" And he kind of like looks like he can tell it's a tooth. Like maybe I should have
he
this.
makes
Like,
that it's a tooth face. Yeah, that's like a very distinct face.
Yeah.
I don't understand with all this shit that happened, right? And he's not going around checking out anything or just like never letting go of his son.
Right.
And he's like, hey, honey, hey, I know you've been traveling for 4 days straight trying to get to our son who's been left home alone. Please explain this thing to this is it's like encapsulates everything about feeling like a dipshit husband sometimes, where I'll be around my house and be like not know where something is and it's right in front of my face and it just gets pointed out once I
right, yeah.
Like you have to involve another person to make you look stupid to find something. But yeah, man. I love that. Like, number one question, what's this gold tooth? Number two, how's Kevin doing?
Yeah. I think the only thing we see then too is Kevin looking out the window and old man Marley and his son and granddaughter and I guess his daughter-in-law, they're all there and hugging, and they're clearly reuniting, and that's real sweet. So
really cool to see that.
And he waves at Kevin because clearly he was inspired by the young man's speech in the church to do that. So that is Home Alone. That's the whole movie.
It's it.
Fantastic stuff. So much fun. You picked this one for us, Nick. Why don't you throw us your rating first?
Yeah. Man, this was a fun one to talk about. And I'm still going to watch this again, I think, before Christmas. Like, it's just, it's so well done. And it just makes me feel very happy to watch the score, everything. It gets extra points for me for the holiday theme, because it does just give you a certain feeling. And then I think the thing that really puts it over the top, like I talked about, is the John Candy bits.
Oh yeah.
I think the John Candy bits actually make this a 5 out of 5 for me, because I could watch this with anybody. I really get excited watching this at Christmas time. And then I think just seeing these performances, even Catherine O'Hara was pretty much like a straight performer for most of the movie, but the scenes of her really freaking out are incredibly good. And it's interesting watching this to say, like, the people that probably had the best career post Home Alone would be for sure Catherine O'Hara,
100%,
and then maybe Kieran Culkin.
Absolutely, he's got an Oscar.
Those would be the big two dogs from this movie, which is kind of unexpected.
Not John Hurd, not Macaulay Culkin,
right? But man, great cast, great movie, great job by my man John Hughes directing this.
Exactly.
Sorry, Christopher Columbus. But yeah, this is a 5 for me. See it if you haven't seen it, man. It's great, and I think it still holds up well.
I think we would be hard pressed to find a listener of this podcast. There's not a ton of them yet. I think we'd be hard pressed to find somebody interested in this who hasn't seen Home Alone.
Yeah.
It's more like, has it been 20 years since you've seen it? Yeah, you should.
And if they've listened to the episode till now, to have me be like, hey, I'd recommend maybe checking it out. Oh, I think I'll do that.
All right, so you give it a 5. So for me, this is like this is a Christmas classic. It's a ton of fun. It's definitely, over time, it's become kind of like not like one of my favorite Christmas movies per se. I definitely have gravitated more towards the slightly more adult oriented Christmas movies over the years. But this is a ton of fun. It's classic. It's very 90s, everything about it fits great. And for me, it's a 4 out of 5, not quite there at the 5 out of 5, but 4 out of 5 from me. So that's a 9 out of 10 from the Two Dads on Home Alone, which is like right where it needs to be, I think, for sure. And so that's Home Alone. And I guess that means I get to pick next.
Yeah. What are we opening up next on the Dadvent calendar here, Steve?
So we started off with a movie that was sort of like, arguably, is it a Christmas movie? Our first Dadvent calendar movie is Trading Places. We agree that it is, but I could see people making the argument like, is that really a Christmas movie? And then we went second to The Ref, which was my choice, which is clearly a Christmas movie, but it was like not a box office success. It was like, not a well-known movie and so everything. And now here we've hit the classic 80s, 90s family Christmas movie, right? So I think next what we're going to do is we're going to go back a little bit in concept to like, is this a Christmas movie? And I don't think there's any doubt. I think this movie is 100% a Christmas movie. I think the people who wrote it think it's 100% a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
The director has said it's 100% a Christmas movie. The star didn't necessarily agree, but who cares? So we are going to take a trip to downtown Los Angeles, and we're going to go to a Christmas party at Nakatomi Plaza, and we're going to watch Die Hard. And I'm so excited. I can't wait.
I'm psyched about this. I knew this was coming, and Yippee-ki-yay, let's fucking get after it, dude.
Absolutely a Christmas movie. The story could not work without Christmas. It's set on Christmas Eve. It takes place over the course of a single evening of just Christmas Eve. There's so much about it that is tied to the holiday. It is absolutely a Christmas movie. I don't want to hear, I will brook no dissent on that. And it's one of, just honestly, take Christmas out of it, it's one of the best action movies of the 80s, for sure. So that's going to be a ton of fun. Join us next week, listener, and you'll hear us talk about the movie Die Hard. That about wraps it up. So if you like what you hear, and we hope you do, please consider heading over to Apple or Spotify and leaving us a 5-star review. It really helps new folks find the show. If you want to drop us a line, share your thoughts on an episode, tell us what we got wrong, or suggest a movie we should do next, you can do so at the show at twodads1movie.com. That's the number 2 and the number 1. You can also follow us on Instagram at 2dads1movie and check out that website at twodads1movie.com. Once again, this has been Home Alone, another episode of Two Dads, One Movie. I'm Steve.
And I'm Nick.
Thank you so much for listening, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, everyone.